Hi, everybody. Welcome to Buzzing About Romance. I am Leah, and on this episode, I'm giving you a quick shot of romance, but author spotlight edition. On this spotlight, I'm joined by my co-host, Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
And we are welcoming author Jayne Ann Krentz. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Delighted to be here. It's fun.
Jayne Ann Krentz is the author of more than 50 New York Times bestsellers. She's written contemporary romantic suspense novels under that name and futuristic and historical romance novels under the pseudonyms Jane Castle and Amanda Quick. Well, we are very, very excited to have you. We got the email and Amanda was like, yes. Like she emailed back like instantly. Can we have this and make it happen, please?
Thank you, Amanda.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have been a very long time fan, so this is very exciting for me. And apologies if I fangirl at any point during this interview.
I don't think any author minds having somebody say, I enjoyed your books.
No, I'm sure that they don't.
That's what it's all about. Yeah.
What initially drew you to romance as a writer?
It was the genre I loved reading the most. Ideally, I liked it with a murder.
Okay.
I grew up on Nancy Drew.
I love a Nancy Drew.
And so to me, the suspense and the relationship always make a great combination. And I think romantic suspense is not undervalued, but because people love it, but not understood as a separate genre or subgenre unto itself, because it isn't just a romance with a little mystery on the side, and it isn't just a mystery with a little love relationship on the side.
Right.
It really, the relationship and the plot have to work in lockstep. Every twist in the plot affects the relationship, and every twist in the relationship affects the plot. And that is, for me, always been the key to romantic suspense, and that's my favorite kind of story. So I had been reading romance and I had been reading suspense, and when I could get it, Gothic.
Okay.
Because I consider that like the foundational novel for romantic suspense is the Gothic novel to me. But that went away for a long time. They were big in the 60s and 70s, and then you didn't see them for a while. Now they're back, but that's a whole nother story. So basically, I never told myself I could do it better than anybody else. I don't believe that at all. But there came a time when I wanted to tell the story my way.
Okay.
And so I wanted the characters to say my words, and I wanted the plot to go my way. And so it was more just to please myself, to make the story my story that got me started writing.
I think that's a great reason to start writing, because you wanted people to experience what you wanted them to experience, like what you experienced when you're reading a book or writing itself.
I don't even know if I was thinking about readers at the time, because I really was doing it for myself. I mean, it took me 6 years to get published. In those days, it was New York or nothing. There was no alternative for self-publishing. And so the odds against getting published were astronomical, as they still are by New York. But I couldn't stop the writing. I just had to keep doing it. So I think if it becomes a compulsion, you're kind of stuck with it.
So those first couple books, are they in a box somewhere, or did you get the opportunity to publish those?
What I lost along the way were dozens of synopsis and 30 pages.
Okay.
Because that was what you sent to New York, a synopsis and 30 pages of the manuscript.
Yeah.
And so every time one of those got rejected from every publisher I could find, I would try another 30 pages in the synopsis. So I have no idea how many of those plots and characters went away. But when you look back, usually the themes and the elements that you work with at the beginning, they're still there 40 years later.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, I've always focused on the risks of trust and the struggle to reinvent yourself. All of my characters are in a situation where they're going to have to trust each other to survive, and they don't know if they can. That risk of trust is huge for me. And they are all in the process of having to reinvent themselves for whatever reason that life has thrown them a curveball.
So as an author, is there a piece of advice that present author you would give past author you?
don't go for multiple pen names. Don't go there. Just don't go there.
Well, and you have three, so there's a little bit of
Ugh, tell
juggle
me
She
about
had
it.
there.
more at
Yeah,
one
tell me about
point.
it. I really, it was bad enough doing it back in the days when I had to do it because the publishers wanted different names
Right.
to build. Okay, and that was the reason for them. But today, that doesn't happen. And I would say don't do it for the simple reason that you cannot build 3 or 4 brands these days. It's just
Mhm.
impossible on
Yeah.
social media is too demanding, and you'll be lucky to build one brand.
Yeah.
So don't even go there. Yeah. If you're people, the reason people give for doing that is usually because, well, I'm going to write something different.
Right.
You probably aren't going to write something different. You just think you're writing something different, but the readers are still responding to your voice,
Uh-huh.
not
Yeah.
not the something different. So there's that, but there's also the fact that you don't want to lose what audience you do have.
Right.
And start over from scratch. It's just not a smart way to go about it. And yes, you'll lose some readers because they don't like futuristic romance, perhaps, or
Mhm.
um, but a bunch of your core audience is going to follow you because of your voice, and
Right.
that's what you want. So
So when you're writing, and I'm sure it has changed over the years, but do you have any rituals or habits that help you stay focused?
I write best in my office,
Okay.
with distractions are less there, and
Hmm.
um, I mean the distractions online have gotten horrendous. There's
Oh, it's
just
bad.
we all suffer from that, and
Uh-huh.
I'm guilty too. It's the best days are the days no email comes in. And if I was really, really strong-willed, I would turn off everything except the writing,
Hmm.
the writing program. But I'm weak.
Yeah.
I'm, I'm weak.
I think we all are.
I need to see that breaking news thing, the notification that comes
Hmm.
in.
You're like, because
Is the
something
world
might happen, like
is
in
the world
the,
still out there?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, it's coffee. Coffee in my office.
there you go. Like two wonderful things.
Yes.
So for your stories, do you plot them out or are you fly by the seat of your pants type of
It's a little of
author?
both. It's a little
Okay.
of both. It's kind of complicated to explain because the problem for me is that I don't really get my good ideas until I start writing.
Okay.
For me, the
Mm.
act of creativity is my most creative mindset. When I'm plotting up front, it's more logically oriented, if you know what I mean. It's like doing
Hmm.
math or something.
Okay.
I have to have
Okay.
this, I have to have that. Um, and I won't really think of a fun way to do that until I'm actually there and I'm facing the problem.
Okay.
So, but I do start out with a rough sense of the environment, um, a little bit of the character's background, and that usually develops quite a bit along the way because I don't really know the characters until I'm about 30% into the book.
Okay.
Um, and the plot just keeps turning on you. And everybody I know says that. There's always this
Mm.
twist in the plot that you didn't see coming. And there's always the character you didn't know you needed. In in the book that's coming out in January, the Shop on Hidden Lane, it's the dog.
Oh,
I loved
Bruce.
Bruce.
Oh,
See, takes over the book. That's
he
the
did.
problem with
I,
introducing pet animals in the story, I'm telling you.
but I will say, Bruce showed up and Bruce was never forgotten. Like, Bruce
Nope.
was a big part of it. And I
Yeah,
loved him. But so many times we read a book and like there's a pet, and then it's like, well, who's taking the pet out? Who is feeding the pet? Like, what happened to the dog? It's like a cat you can kind of forget about, but like a dog you cannot.
yeah, and that is
Bruce
the
was
problem
not.
with plotting with animals. Let me tell you, they
Bruce
they
was,
they're a character. They become a character in the book, and you have to work them
oh, and
in.
Bruce definitely was a character. I loved
He
him so
is.
much. But we'll talk about him in a minute. So how do you balance the development of the romantic relationship between your characters with the other elements of the story?
Well, usually it starts with a mystery.
Okay.
The jump off that brings them together is usually, in this case, a murder.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Uh, that's the launch point, I guess you would say. And after that, for whatever reason, they're stuck having to work together because now they're the ones in danger, or somebody they love is in danger,
Hmm.
and they have to work together to survive. But at that point, it just feels natural. I can't explain it. It just feels
Okay.
balanced. The mystery and the relationship balance themselves. It's intuitive. I don't know how to explain it really. You just
I think that's a great
That's,
answer. It just
yeah.
does it itself. Like some people, they feel like they really have to work for that balance, and others like, and I tell every author that I talk to, I love doing these spotlights because every author, like start to finish, like it's like you start with an idea, you finish with a book, but the in between is so different for everybody, and I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. I think it's just it's the ultimate going inside your own head kind of thing, and it's just going to be unique for everybody because everybody's going to go at it differently and think differently. I suppose it's true of any kind of creative form.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably true of mathematics, which you don't think of as creative, but I can't do them because that kind of creativity is not my forte. But I can imagine being a mathematician and seeing concepts come together would
Hmm.
be a truly creative experience and very satisfying.
Oh yeah.
Um, Painting, cooking, quilting, anything that becomes a passion is really an act of creativity, and it's going to be unique for everybody.
No, I totally agree. So, as a reader, is there a subgenre that you are really enjoying right now?
Well, the return of the Gothic as yeah, Gothic mystery is
Yeah.
like Simone St. James and some of the others that are out. It's just kind of my perfect book,
Hmm.
my perfect read. And I like a good mystery as long as it's not gory. I'm more into the amateur sleuth type mystery,
Okay.
Oh,
not
yeah.
yeah. One of the reasons I plot so much with a psychic element is because it allows me to plot a mystery that can't be solved actually by forensics or DNA,
Hmm.
all the fancy cop kind of
The
real police
sciences.
work. Yeah. Yeah.
The real.
It, yeah, it takes me back to the Sherlock Holmes style where everything's
Hmm.
done by intuition and
Yeah.
observation. And that's what the psychic vibe gives my characters is a different kind of intuition. One of the reasons I love working with the psychic vibe, and this is going off string here, but
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
I should point out that I'm often sold as a paranormal romance writer, but
Hmm.
in our market, paranormal for most people means vampires, witches, and the supernatural,
Right.
werewolves.
See,
I
she
go,
knows.
She does know.
I have very big opinions on people that
Miss,
misclassify
yes.
paranormal.
well, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And so I usually try to clarify it for readers because don't buy my books if you're looking for a true supernatural story, because that's
Right.
not what I'm
Yep.
telling. But the reason I like the psychic vibe is because for me, it's just one step beyond intuition.
Uh-huh.
And
Hmm.
everybody kind of knows or thinks they have intuition.
Yes.
So I think it's easier for people to step into that story. It's easier for me
Hmm.
to think of it as a real thing.
And I love how it goes across all of your books, like between the Arcane Society and the Foundation and all of the ways and more into the fantasy, and it's always an element, and it's like I love it.
Well, I'm glad because I love writing it. I have to say that when comes time for plots, all you have to do is open the cupboard door and they fall out um, because throughout the whole 20th century and for all we know now, the US government was so heavily involved in psychic research, and
Hmm.
so were the Russians and the British. And I mean, these people were taking it seriously in the 20th century, not just the 19th century, but
Right.
all the way through my childhood and everything going going up till now. The goal to create psychic spies was just very real, and
Hmm.
millions got poured into those experiments. We'll never know how much because it was all off the books.
So let's talk The Shop on Hidden Lane. It comes out January 6th, 2026. It is the story of Sophie and Luke, and it opens and you're kind of put into this moment. And we find out that Sophie has some powers, but a lot of people around her can't handle them, like when they see them. And it's her discovery of like who she really is. And then, but Luke also discovering more of who he is as well.
I think when I look back on it, a lot of in addition to working with trust and reinvention,
Mm-hmm.
all of my female characters are strong characters who are looking for a man who is strong enough to appreciate and respect them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a kind of a fundamental element of books I have written since the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The hero is the one who isn't afraid of them.
Right.
and and respects. There's a mutual respect that is fundamental to the stories. So with the psychic vibe, I figure anybody with a real psychic power would be that. I don't care what it was. It's going to complicate any relationship you
Mm-hmm.
have because most of the world won't even believe it.
Right.
There's no way to really prove it. There's nothing that can measure psychic energy. So how are you going to prove it?
Mm-hmm.
Most people would just say, well, that's a magic trick.
Yeah.
You know that. Yeah. So there's the whole, am I delusional?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of comes out of the old Gothic tradition where the heroine always starts questioning what she sees, and
Mm-hmm.
people tell her she's not. It's the gaslight thing, you know.
Mhm.
Right.
They're not. You're not really seeing that, you know, and you question your own sanity. And I
Mm-hmm.
think anybody with a true psychic power probably would have those kinds of questions.
Right.
So it sets up those kinds of churning problems for my characters that are always in the background that I can work with that give it give it something for them to resolve within them, not just solve the mystery, but find the truth about themselves.
Well, and when the book opens, we have the Wells family. Like Luke is a Wells, Sophie is a Harper, but they've been feuding for years. And there's real reasons, but there's no real reasons at the same time. And it's this theme throughout, but as like they're kind of enemies, but not.
Because they're bound together by a pact that their great grandfather signed
Mm-hmm.
in blood, so to speak. You know,
Yeah.
they made a vow that whatever happened with the two families, they would protect the family secrets.
Right.
And now those secrets are spilling out into the open. And
Mm-hmm.
so our generation, the younger generation in the family, has to solve the problem and fast.
Well, but they're looking for the middle generation because of
Yeah.
things that have been happening. And
Well, yeah, when you find out your aunt has been sleeping with his uncle and you were supposed to be enemies,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's a shock.
That scene was really funny when they're like looking at the bed and they're like, oh no. And then and then she talks about how she's not opening any drawers because she doesn't know what she's gonna find.
Yeah.
Would you open a drawer
I
and
mean,
get
I
these?
would not. She's not wrong. But
No.
I had to laugh because I'm like, yeah, I would not be doing that either, but nobody like wants to see that.
No, that some things are off behind closed doors was when you're talking about the generation up above you. You just don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go there.
Right.
Yeah. It's like good for them, but we don't
Don't
need to
talk
talk
about it.
about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Luke is a character where he's so unsure of himself, like because of stuff that has happened in the recent past. And but he was a guy that like as you read him, like he was very sure of himself and like knew what he was going to do and how he was going to do things.
Then he screwed up.
And then things happened. And so now he's kind of floundering in a way, unsure of like what to do. But I
Yeah.
really enjoyed him.
Well, he was chosen, so to speak, by the family to be the next
Mm-hmm.
the head of the family. And he was okay with that. And he was trained for it and he had the
Right.
power for it and everything else. But he made a mistake in judgment. And now he blames himself and he
Mm-hmm.
questions whether or not he's really up to fulfilling the role that he's supposed to fulfill in the family. So that's what he's questioning about himself. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Well,
interesting to me that they kept, it was the no talent Wells, but he
yeah.
obviously has, he has this intuition, and we find out later that he has,
Other
some other
things.
abilities
But
with
nobody saw
dreams
it as a
and
talent. Yeah.
yeah, and nobody saw it as a talent. And I'm reading him the whole time and I'm like, he's Yeah, he has talent. Like,
We just have to see it come out.
yeah,
Well, I mean, how often do we take something for granted that
Mhm.
yeah.
probably is a talent?
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to justify to somebody who doesn't like the psychic thing, or doesn't find the fantasy interesting, um, I always point to music, because music has such incredible power over us. It can make you laugh, it can make you cry, it can make you feel patriotic, it can make you feel sad. Everybody knows how you react to music. A marching
Mhm.
band is a whole different experience. But when you think about it, there's no energy that you can see affecting your brain. I mean, how does that work? Why does it have such an enormous impact on us? Same as a sunny day.
Yeah.
So there's energy in the world that we don't yet,
Hmm.
we take it for granted, but we don't yet see it as something outside
Profound.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, something real. Um, but we don't question it either. So that's kind of where I go with the psychic thing.
I like how when you're talking about the psychic abilities and what Luke can do, but you call them talents. You don't call them abilities or things like that. Like you name it as a talent. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, because I think it's an extension. It is a kind of talent. Not everybody can play the piano at concert level.
Right.
I don't care how much they practiced,
Yeah.
they're just never going to get there.
I was
None
one
of,
of those people. I could never do that.
sorry about that. I
No,
mean,
it's fine. I do not have hangups. I did the piano lessons. I did the like little like things. It was not my forte.
and everybody, I think, kind of drifts through life until they find
Hmm.
their passion, and
Hmm.
that's usually your talent. I mean,
Yeah.
um, if you're really, really good at mathematics, you're going to go that direction. Somehow you're
Hmm.
going to work that into your life, or you'll be very unhappy the rest of your life, I
Yeah.
think, if you don't find it. I think it behooves us. We probably should start teaching children younger to search for their passion at an early
Hmm.
stage, instead of letting them flounder around. It's okay to flounder around. I didn't mean against that, but
Well, they got to try
some
things
Yeah.
because not trying stuff, you might not find what you really enjoy.
yeah, I think that's the key, is that try lots of things, and then when you do find something, focus on it.
Yeah.
If it's, yeah, pay attention to it because there's something there.
So let's talk about Bruce. So Bruce is the
Dog
puppy.
takes over again.
He's the puppy. He's adorable and sweet when he wants to be, and but he grins so much through this book and I like it. Well, and I have an Aussie collie who I swear smiles. I s-
There's something about the way their mouths fit.
exactly.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
he's a very good dog, but sometimes like he has the smile and I'm like, well, what were you doing wrong? And what were you eating that you were not supposed to? And anytime Bruce smiled, like I thought of Link and I was like, oh, yeah, I could see that.
Well, I think they very quickly learned. I mean, they're fast learners when it comes to figuring out humans.
Hmm.
They figure us out pretty
They
fast,
do.
which is why it was easy to make a semi-psychic dog,
Hmm.
And I
because I
love
figured
the
they probably are.
tie-in.
Yeah.
I love the tie-in, which I won't spoil, but everyone make sure you read the epilogue for Bruce, a little more Bruce information. So, and I love that tie-in. So,
Good, good. That was fun to write.
yeah, so I'm very excited for more of that.
So, what kind of dog is Bruce supposed to be? Because we talk about like how they're not really sure what he is, but what was your inspiration for Bruce?
Um, a, a chunky dog, a herky dog,
Uh-huh.
a dangerous looking dog. But I didn't want him to be a standard police dog or
Yeah.
something, something that looks like a
Yeah.
police dog. I just want him to be a kind of a dog
And
that your first instinct is, can I, you're not going to rush up and pet him unless somebody says it's safe to pet him, like,
well, I love when
hey,
they're like, does he bite?
Does he? She's like, yes.
Like
he's a
that was
dog.
always the question.
He's
Does
a
he
dog.
bite? No. Yes. Like you knew by the answer whether or not she liked the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they picked a little dog image for the chapter headings. I don't know if
Oh, yes.
does that show up on the ebook when you
Hmm.
read? Yeah.
It
Um,
does.
but they never found, like, they just kind of picked one that looked like a chunky little dog. They didn't try
Uh,
to identify it as a particular animal, particular breed. There's so many, I figure there's so many breeds out there now that
There really are.
Yeah.
anybody can see it as their dog.
Yeah.
So these two families, there's just there's so much animosity. It makes me think of like Hatfield's McCoys. Like, was that a little bit of the inspiration there?
Yeah, I think the feud thing works because it's all based on business gone bad, and
Mm-hmm.
business, you can hold resentments from business gone bad for years.
Hmm.
It's blame them for the failure of one family, but the other family prospers.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so that's kind of the foundation of the feud, and the fact that one family, the heroine's family, kind of walks a fine line has historically walked a fine line because they have a real talent for lock picking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which I
so,
love.
so
Well,
some of them have been very more entrepreneurial than others when it comes to using their talents.
well, and one thing I like about Sophie and like what we get from her side is the fact they're they live how they want. Like, yes, there's this feud. Yes, like there's some hangups about it, but they're still doing their thing. Like they have their insecurities and frustrations, but like they are okay with who they are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and
And
they're
I
all
love that
librarians,
she's, oh,
and
sorry, go
she's a
ahead.
librarian.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's where I was gonna go. I was like, oh yeah, and I love that she's a librarian and she's doing her
Well,
psychic stuff for the police on the side.
but it's like they're all librarians. So it's like they like really enjoy that, like the learning aspect of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. It's it's a it's a fine profession, and I and it has always had a kind of a respectable reputation for being a sort of noble job,
Yeah.
like teaching is a noble job.
Hmm.
It's got a an ambition to enhance civilization in a sense, and that's something that to be proud of. So I
Well,
like
Yeah.
and
strong-minded librarians.
Well, and I do like again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's like the little running joke of Luke's little mishap.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
And I really do enjoy that because it's like, well, you got snowed because of this.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just
I'm
like
glad
that.
that worked. I'm glad that worked.
It did. It worked really well. I really enjoyed that because I mean, that is like definitely like a fantasy in a lot of like books that we get. And so it's like, now you
Yeah.
know.
And
Fell
it
for it.
allows for it allows for the comparison between Sophie and, the other
Mhm.
piece. Gives you
Yes.
a little bit of that. Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, and
Oh, good, good.
it brings a little bit of like lightness
Yeah.
to like it's kind of a heavy story with what their their adventure almost to say like it brings a lightness to it that like you need in those moments.
Yeah, I tend to write toward the light side. I've always said that if you don't like my books, it's probably because you fundamentally don't like my sense of humor. You're not sharing it. We don't have the
Hmm.
same sense of humor, and
Yeah.
I think that's a real deal breaker in a book for a reader.
Yeah,
More serious stories can go, you can read them without that element. That's not what you're going to judge it on. But if the humor seems off to you, or if you don't get it,
right.
you'll never go back to that writer again, I think. So
Hmm.
Yeah, because your banter is a really important part of your books, I think.
yeah, I'm a
Like,
very dialogue driven
yeah.
writer. Yeah. And that's time for me to make my standard public service announcement, which is that dialogue is when I'm really on
Hmm.
as a writer. That's when I love the story the most. But narrative and description are really, really hard for me. So
Okay.
if you come across a paragraph of description, I want you to slow down and read every single word because it took me a long time to write that stupid paragraph. That's my PSA for the day.
Oh, goodness.
Blow through the banter, read through those descriptions.
Yeah.
So there's one point where Sophie and Luke are talking and she was I don't remember what they were talking about off the top of my head, but she was like, blah, blah, blah. And then like a little bit later, he's like, blah, blah, blah. Did I miss something important in the blahs? And I instantly went to the Seinfeld episode where like the yada, yada, yada. And it's like, you yada, yada over the best part. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a blah, blah, but a yada, yada at the same time.
Leah
Um,
and I are very big fans of banter
We
and
are,
dialogue.
yes.
oh,
So
good. Yeah.
Honestly, good banter or dialogue can make or break a book for me.
Yeah. I think because it reveals so much about the characters.
mhm.
So the kind of banter that makes you annoys you is when it's like question and answer,
Yes.
give me the keys to, I mean, that kind of does it's not conveying any emotion or any
Hmm.
anxiety or any feeling for what's going on emotionally.
Yeah.
Um, it's just getting from A to B kind of
Yeah.
banter. That's not really banter.
It's
That's
like an
just
information pass.
yeah. I don't have to. That's a good word for it. Sometimes you have to have scenes like that, but banter, I think conversation is where, for me, that's where the personality emerges. It's when
Mhm.
the two characters start talking to each other that I figure out who
Who
they
they
really are.
are. Well, they definitely had conversation, good and bad. There's one moment too where they're at this place to like try and find their aunt and uncle because they've been essentially sent there, and she wakes up and she's like all snuggled in and she's like, I feel this weight.
Oh
And it was
yeah.
Bruce. And I love that because honestly, like my husband will get out of bed and my dog will jump up in bed and like I'll wake up and I'm like, oh man, like is it still early and I didn't like or and I just woke up too early because like I feel this really heavy weight behind me and it's just the dog. So I
You
I
identified
felt that.
it.
There's just there's such good, well-rounded characters that I really enjoyed reading them. And I will fully admit this is my first book by you. Like
Okay.
I have not,
So
but
there's lots more.
it is not going to be my last. Like it's just what you have such a big backlist that it's very like intimidating.
Yes.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, where do I start? What do
Yeah.
I like dive into? And then we got this opportunity and Amanda like jumped on it. And I was like, okay, I am down for this. I love reading new authors, especially authors that are like really well established. And I'm like, dang it, why didn't I read her years ago?
Yeah. We were
Well,
having a whole
I'm
conversation on where she could go after this.
Yes, exactly.
yeah. Well, I always say start with the most recent books.
Mm,
And I would also say that each book is written as a standalone.
hmm.
Uh,
I love that.
for the past few years, they've all been kind of part of what my editor calls the Jane verse,
Okay.
um, which is the heavy psychic vibe
Hmm.
that runs through a lot of the books. Um, and there's some connections that if you read a lot of them, you're going to pick up on, but you don't miss them
Hmm.
if you don't miss the connection if you don't happen to have read that other book. So
Yeah,
I
they
try to
stand
write them
really
all.
well alone. So
Yeah,
Well,
that's my goal.
and I love that. Like I love an overarching storyline, but I need to know going into it that it's
Yeah,
happening because I hate a Cliffy. Like they
yeah,
make me so ragey. But I do like I love the fact that you can find an author you can jump in anywhere.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite hero or heroine that you have written in
It
any of the Jane worlds and Amanda worlds?
no, not really. It would be just the one I'm working on now.
Okay.
It's, I once a book is done, I kind of put it aside in my
Hmm.
head and I move on to the next story because I've told that story,
Right.
Yeah. But having said that, I would say that there is a Jane kind of hero and there is a Jane kind of heroine.
Okay.
And, and they're going to, from book to book, they're going to have similar values. They're going to
Hmm.
have similar sense of humor. It's just kind of men I do and the kind of women I do are, certain kinds of characters. And that's not going to vary a lot from one book to the next.
Right.
It's,
I
it,
also like how you balance, like there's with the psychic stuff that you always show the darker side of it too. Like what can happen when they use too much power or the psychic weapons. Um, in contrast to the hero and the heroine, that are
Yeah.
using these talents for good.
Well, I think there's always a dark side to an ability, don't you? I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
if you've really got a talent for something, you can use it to screw things over. I mean, you can use it for bad.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think that goes for anything. Like every person, like it's whether or not they choose to do good or choose to do bad. Like there's that side to everybody.
Exactly. And everybody has a gift of some kind, I think, and what you do with it is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, and I think that's always a really interesting part of when you're talking about, you kind of write the same hero and heroine, that it's always how they use it for good. And it's always like a standout piece for me in your books.
yeah, I always have, fiction in general, the fiction that we go back to again and again, in whether it be mysteries or fantasy or romantasy or romance or, the fiction that we go back to again and again usually features underlying core values that are really the old school heroic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Honor,
Hmm.
honor matters
Yeah.
in our characters in fiction. Our heroes, we all know what a hero looks like, and we get that from fiction.
Yeah.
That's where we learn what real heroes are, is fiction. Honor matters. The ability to love and have compassion matter. A character that doesn't have that, is not ever going to be the hero. It's never
Right.
going to be the good guy, In the end, heroes and heroines have to do the right thing. It doesn't matter how messed up things are beforehand or what their trauma is or anything else. Um, they're gonna save the kid. They're,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they're gonna do the right thing. And that's just, I think we go back to fiction again and again to reinforce those values.
Yeah.
I think that's the appeal. Because we all want to think that if the chips are down, we're gonna
Yeah.
Do
do
the
yeah,
right thing.
do the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if no matter the cost. Yeah. And that's why it bugs us so much when people don't.
Yeah.
Because we all have a sense of fairness. Dang it. That's
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
that's not fair. Um,
Right.
and that's kind of, I think, one of the fundamental lures of fiction.
Mm-hmm. So we have the shop on Hidden Lane coming in January. What's next after that?
The next after that is a book called Enter the Nightmare.
Okay.
Ooh.
And that's one of my Harmony books, which it says Jayne Ann Krentz writing is Jane Castle, so you can look for it under either name.
Okay.
Jane Castle was one of the three names I'm kind of using these for the past few years. That actually happens to be my birth name, not that it matters. Um, but I actually started out as a great name for a romance writer,
It
Jane Castle.
really
Yeah.
is.
Oh, and that's why I said just don't go there. Don't go getting pen names. Anyhow, that book is out in, I think, May
Ooh.
next year.
Okay.
I
Already
love
we're
the Harmony
talking
world.
2026, yeah. Um, and it's one of my futuristic romantic suspense novels set on the planet Harmony, which is pretty much our modern world, but with a psychic twist.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
and
like
and dust bunnies.
the dust bunnies are the best. Leah, you would love these books.
The
Did the
dust
So
dust
bunnies,
did the
the
dust
dust
bunnies come
bunnies,
to
yeah,
life?
no, it's
it's
a
a little,
creature
it's the dog of the,
of
That's
the
so
Harmony world.
cool.
Yes.
Okay,
it's
I'll have to read that.
yeah, it looks like and it was in my mind's eye, it looks like one of those fluffy English Angora rabbits,
Uh, like an
little
actual
ears,
bunny, but
Yes.
yeah,
dust.
but with teeth.
With fangs,
The dust
kind of.
bunnies are
Like the
little,
Monty Python bunny.
yeah, they're predators.
Yeah.
I love that. Something that you would
Yes.
not think was like that.
They're down with cute, but they can turn on you if you're. But the saying about the dust bunnies is that by the time you see the teeth, it's too late.
Yeah.
Like a
So,
gremlin.
Yes.
but they're loyal little
Hmm.
companions.
Oh, I love all these things.
They're so much fun.
Yeah,
That is right up my alley. Like
Hmm.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining Amanda and I on this quick shot of romance author spotlight. We have been so happy that you were able to join us.
This has been great. This has been a lovely way to spend the morning out here in Seattle. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And until next time, happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.